I gotta get a little barbecue sauce. Dude tried to play me down there. You know, they give you the same amount whether you get 6 or 16.
Who is this?
Oh, this is my cousin, Will.
Fans have cherished The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as a light-hearted comedy filled with laughter and life lessons for years. But a shadowy truth has lingered behind the scenes, hidden from the spotlight. Tatyana Ali, who played the adorable Ashley Banks, recently unveiled a chilling secret that could change everything we thought we knew about this beloved show. What dark story lies beneath the surface of this iconic series? Prepare to be shocked as the truth unfolds.
I was under contract to NBC, and NBC was run by this very smart guy at the time named Brandon Tartikoff.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air first aired on the 10th of September 1990 on National Broadcasting Company. It had been the brainchild of Andy and Susan Borowitz. The series focused on Will Smith, a character named after its actor, Will Smith. The character was a street-smart, rambunctious teenager who found himself amongst upper-class relatives and tried to balance his personality with the lifestyle of the upper class. The sitcom followed Smith's life from West Philadelphia, where he grew up, to Bel Air, Los Angeles. One of the show's appealing aspects was its theme song. With Will Smith rapping in the opening sequence, he embodied the character's personality like a second skin. The series' plot begins with Will accidentally hitting a group of young people with a basketball. This led to a confrontation that scared his mother. She then sent him to live with his aunt and uncle in the wealthy Bel Air neighborhood. Will's background as a young boy raised in Philly clashed with the elite world of the Banks. His uncle Phil and his wife, Aunt Vivian, had clear standards and tried to uphold them. Their children, Hillary, Carlton, and Ashley, were mostly pompous, spoiled, and impressionable. A fourth child, known to the audience as Baby Nicky, was later introduced in season 3. There was also the butler Jeffrey, whose sarcasm added to the show's appealing humor. How did this show come about? It was a story very similar to the plot of the show. In 1989, Benny Medina, a music manager, and his business partner Jeff Pollock decided to make a production out of Medina's experience. Just like Will, Medina had grown up poor. However, his life changed when he became friends with a rich white teenager. The teenager's family lived in Beverly Hills and opened their doors to Medina to accommodate him. Medina drew inspiration from this, but decided to tweak a few things. A black character living with a white family was a concept that was all too familiar. Medina decided to swap out the rich white troupe for a black rich family. This way, the public would observe relations between black people on different parts of the social status quo. In an interview for Ebony magazine, Medina disclosed, "That way we could explore black-on-black prejudice as well as black class differences." Medina knew this was no small project. He pitched the idea to Quincy Jones, who was impressed by it. At the time, Quincy had just snagged a development deal with Warner Brothers Television. Quincy Jones arranged a meeting with National Broadcasting Company chief Brandon Tartikoff, and the rest, as they say, became history. Most of the time, Andy Borowitz and his wife Susan are given credit as the show's creators. This was because Andy had been selected by the National Broadcasting Company chief, Tartikoff, to write the pilot. He drew inspiration from Quincy Jones's daughters for the characters of Uncle Phil and Aunt Vivian's children. He also named Alfonso Ribeiro's character Carlton after his friend Carlton Cuse. Later, he revealed that the pilot was written and taped in 3 weeks. He said, "It was just an explosion of really good luck." The pilot episode began taping on the 1st of May 1950, and season 1 aired months later. The theme song was written and performed by Will Smith under his stage name, The Fresh Prince. At the end of each episode, he was credited along with Quincy Jones, who composed the track. It was a fan favorite. Although the series portrayed the life of a family unit, it was somewhat chaotic behind the scenes. Before we uncover these behind-the-scenes events, let's unveil details about Tatyana Ali. Tatyana Ali, actress and singer. Before we delve into the sitcom and its matters, let's look at Tatyana Ali, the singer and actress. She was born on the 24th of January 1979 to an Indo-Trinidadian father and an Afro-Panamanian mother. Her mixed roots are a source of pride for the ebony actress. She began acting at age 6 as a performer on a children's program popularly known as Sesame Street. Not long after that, she displayed her musical abilities to the world when she appeared in 2 episodes of Star Search. On one of the episodes, she performed a cover of Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell's song, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Her big break in acting took place in 1990. She had just snagged a role as Ashley Banks on the National Broadcasting Company television sitcom, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Young Tatyana probably had no clue that the role would be the launch pad for a successful entertainment industry career. She played the role from 1990, when it first aired, to 1996. Her singing was also featured on the sitcom in some episodes. Will Smith, the show's lead actor, once asked if music was something she considered worth pursuing. However, during that period, she was focused on acting and getting better at it. In the sitcom's final season, she performed a few songs. This was all the introduction needed for her debut album, Kiss the Sky, released in 1998, 2 years after the sitcom ended. Let's briefly examine the cracks in the beloved family sitcom.
Before I was getting in trouble with Uncle Phil, I was in trouble with Uncle Sam. Me and Jeff had come out with our smash hit, Parents Just Don't Understand, we made it.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air launched the careers of most of its cast members. Will Smith was a prime example of that. He has gone on to produce countless hit songs and has starred in many blockbuster movies. However, before all of the fame, he was only a boy who barely had any control of his finances. There's a wild story behind how Smith came into the Fresh Prince character, and it involves Quincy Jones and a party. Usually, when an actor seeks a role in a film, he or she goes for an audition. The audition would ascertain if one gets called back or if that is the end of the line. However, Will Smith already had a multiple platinum first album as a hip-hop artist. Getting the role of Will Smith for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was not the usual way it was for everybody else.
I didn't pay the IRS. In my mind, I wasn't like trying to avoid paying taxes. I was just like, oh damn, they need their money.
While Smith was already doing well enough for himself in the music scene, he had gotten into trouble with the IRS. The now veteran actor once opened up about this in a YouTube vlog in 2018 where he said, "Before I was in trouble with Uncle Phil, I was in trouble with Uncle Sam." It was a humorous way of saying that he had gotten in trouble over debt. He explained that after he had made it big from his hit singles, he spent his earnings lavishly on motorcycles and cars. He even went as far as closing out a Gucci store for his friends. Lavish spending was a common trait of most hip-hop artists at the time. It was a lifestyle that was even promoted in music videos. However, this was not all that pushed Smith into financial trouble. His next album barely gained traction. On account of the debt and album tragedy, Will Smith said, "We released our next album and it was like a flop. It was a tragedy. It went like double plastic. I had spent all my money and I didn't forget, but I didn't pay the IRS. In my mind, I wasn't trying to avoid taxes. I was just like, damn, they need their money. The IRS took all that stuff, so I was like, broke, broke, broke. Being famous and broke is a shitty combination because you're still famous and people recognize you, but they recognize you while you are sitting next to them on the bus." Will Smith's situation was as terrible as it sounded, and he needed any help. A suggestion from his then-girlfriend to go to the Arsenio Hall show was exactly the advice he needed. Big Hollywood celebrities usually showed up there. Although Smith was unsure about it, he went to the show. There, he crossed paths with Benny Medina, who had just gotten the green light for a new family sitcom. Benny and Will hit it off quickly. There was no surprise there, considering Will Smith's charismatic personality. Benny thought he would be a perfect fit for the Fresh Prince role. Will Smith did not know that yet. By December 1989, he was invited to Quincy Jones's birthday party, and there Benny Medina finally pitched the show to him. Quincy, who had already been a fan of Smith's music, loved the idea of having him as the lead character. In the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion in 2020, Will Smith revealed that he was enthusiastic during his discussion with Medina about the sitcom at the time. Smith narrated the event saying, "So we go in and he said, 'Where are you from?' I said, 'I'm from Philly.' He said, 'Your character's from Philly.' I'm like, 'Okay.' So it's Quincy's birthday, so it's a big party, so everybody's in there." It was Brandon Tartikoff, the head of the National Broadcasting Company Network Vice President Warren Littlefield. So everybody gets in the room, and Quincy says, "Hey, clear the living room out. Clear the living room out. We're gonna do an audition." I'm going, "Who's doing an audition?" He's like, "Yeah, you got it." I said, No. According to Will, Quincy took him into his office, and Smith felt intimidated. There were posters from his famous productions and a generous amount of awards lined up on display. Quincy Jones had noticed his hesitance and asked what he would need. Smith did not see himself as an actor and asked for 2 weeks to find an acting coach. Everyone who could sign off on airing the show was at the party, right outside the office. Smith asked for 10 minutes to get himself ready for the impromptu audition. In his words, he said, and I was like, "Give me 10 minutes." And he's like, "All right, audition in 10 minutes. Audition in 10 minutes. They did a deal memo that night. That's how we got to the pilot that fast. That was the beginning of his very successful career. It was also the beginning of some long-lived feuds on the set of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What were these feuds about? Cast feuds. On the 19th of November 2020, Vanity Fair published an article recounting the infamous feud between Will Smith and his co-star in the Fresh Prince sitcom. The feud had been so intense that Janet Hubert called Smith a derogatory term in anger. Janet Hubert originally played Aunt Viv on the sitcom during the first 3 seasons of the hit show. She was later replaced before season 4 by Daphne Maxwell Reid, who blamed Smith for pushing her out. This came as a surprise to the viewers. The image of the dysfunctional yet loving Banks family was a far cry from the angst shared between the stars. In an interview, Will Smith was found speaking about Janet Hubert in an accusatory manner. He hinted that her attitude on set was not as easygoing as people assumed. Smith disclosed in a radio interview, "I can say straight up that Janet Hubert wanted the show to be the Aunt Viv of Bel-Air show because I know she is going to dog me in the press. She has basically gone from $250,000 a year to nothing. She's mad now, but she's been mad all along. She said once, 'I've been in the business for 10 years, and this snotty-nosed punk comes along and gets a show. No matter what, to her, I'm just the Antichrist.'" Janet Hubert did not take Smith's words lightly as she came for a fiery response. She said, "He probably is responsible for my firing," Hubert said in response to those Smith comments. "He has a lot of clout. It's too bad that it's a black-on-black attack. I have tried not to name names. I have more class than that. I wish Will would tell the truth. If you're going to talk, tell the truth. He has gotten me fired from the show, and now he's trying to get my career snatched away from me." Folks felt she left the sitcom only 3 seasons in because of the growing animosity between her and Will. That was not the case. Hubert said she was offered this really bad deal during season 3 of the show. "They said you've got 2 months and 2 weeks of work and you cannot work anywhere else," she said. "That meant my salary was cut. I had a new baby and a husband who was out of work. So I said no. I did not accept their offer. I was never fired. So the misconception was always spread. I was trapped. What could I do? So they said, 'Okay, we'll recast your role.' And I said, 'What could I say?' I was hurt deeply." The feud did not stop regardless of her struggles. She was stuck in a hurtful marriage and was expecting a baby while filming season 3. These circumstances did not make filming an easy task. In a solo interview, she revealed, "I was no longer laughing, smiling, joking, because there were things that were going on that nobody knew about. The cast had no idea what was going on. They later reconciled, but the feud ran long and hot over the years. They both exchanged hurtful words with each other." A few years before the show's 30th anniversary, Alfonso Ribeiro posted a photo of the Fresh Prince cast reunited. Fans excitedly speculated a Fresh Prince cast reunion, but Janet had other thoughts. She shared her thoughts on the matter on Facebook, saying, "I know the media hoe, Alfonso Ribeiro, has posted his reunion photo. Folks keep telling me about it. He has always been the asswipe for Will. There will never be a true reunion of the Fresh Prince. I have no interest in seeing any of these people on that kind of level." Years before that, she called Will Smith a mean name on social media. In his solo interview, Smith admitted he had no idea about Hubert's struggles. "During that time of her pregnancy, I wasn't sensitive. I wasn't perceptive," he said. "Now that I've had 3 kids, I've learned some things I did not know then, and I would do things very differently. I can see where I made the set very difficult for Janet." A true reunion later took place on HBO Max. Janet and Smith poured their hearts and acknowledged their mistakes on the sitcom set. "Well, this has been tough. Has it been tough for you?" Hubert asked Smith during the Fresh Prince reunion special. "Yes, it has," Smith said in response. Hubert then asked, "Why so far? You guys went so far. I lost so much. How do we heal from that?" It was an emotional episode as Janet shared how her life turned around for the worse after her exit from the show. She said, "When I left the show, I had this new baby and no one. Family disowned me. Hollywood disowned me. My family said, 'You've ruined our name,'" she said to Smith. "And I wasn't unprofessional on the set. I just stopped talking to everybody. I didn't know who to trust because I'd been banished. And they said it was you who banished me. Because you were Will. You were a kid. It was hard."
Everything was a threat to me.
Why was I a threat?
Not you, the world. I was so driven by fear.
Smith had a few revelations concerning his state of mind as a young man growing into his own on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air set. He said, "I was 21 years old. Everything was a threat to me. I was so driven by fear, jokes, comedy, and all of that." He went on to reveal that his experiences as a father and divorcee had made him understand the struggle and pain she endured in trying to show up every day on set. Janet Hubert shared how much impact their feud had on her public image. "Words can kill," she said. "I lost everything, reputation, everything. I understand you were able to move forward, but you know those words. Calling a black woman difficult in Hollywood is the kiss of death. It's the kiss of death. It's hard enough being a dark-skinned black woman in this business, but I felt it was necessary for us to finally move forward, and I am sorry that I have blasted you to pieces." "Thank you for sharing that with me," Smith responded. "I didn't know, but when I look back, it's obvious you were having a hard time. I felt like you hated me. I could not do a 30-year celebration of this show and not celebrate you. Celebrate your contribution to this show and celebrate your contribution to my life. It took 27 long years, filled with mean exchanges and interviews where they tore each other down before they got to make up with each other. The reality of the sitcom cast was almost bittersweet. The reunion at least ended on a lighter, forgiving note. Janet apologized to Smith for all the hateful things they said to each other, and Smith apologized right back for his behavior toward her. While feuds and angst might have been brewing among cast members on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's set, there were also moments of awkward unease. This particular moment was one Tatyana Ali would not forget for a long time.
Probably just because, I mean, this was another terrifying thing at the time, but I had my first kiss on the show.
Did you?
Like my real first kiss.
Okay. That's gotta be hard.
Tatyana acted the character of Ashley Banks, the daughter of Phil and Vivian Banks, a scene that required her to kiss another character, and it turned out that was Tatyana's first kiss ever. In an interview with US Weekly, Tatyana disclosed, "Well, I was terrified at the time, but looking back on it, I love looking back on it. And probably just because, this was another terrifying thing at the time. But I had my first kiss on the show. My real first kiss." She also informed the magazine that when she was shooting the scene, her co-stars, Karen Parsons and Alfonso Ribeiro, did not have to show up that day because they had no scenes to shoot, but had come to witness the milestone. She explained more about the situation by saying, "I just remember Karen Parsons, who played Hillary Banks, and we had our cameras. The cameras on sitcoms are like huge cameras. And I just remember them looking behind the camera. Who has a first kiss like that?" The actress recalled that at the time she wanted to die figuratively. She also shared her favorite memory from the set with US Weekly. She said her favorite show memory was singing Respect. The lucky man who shared Tatyana's first kiss with her barely resurfaced on social media, and Tatyana had difficulty recalling his name during the interview. The film star said she could see his face but couldn't remember his full name. She said, "His last name is Robinson." "Oh my gosh. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Andrew Robinson? His last name was Robinson. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, I can see his face." The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air aired on National Broadcasting Company for 6 seasons over 6 years. Tatyana also disclosed that the cast had a group chat. She disclosed that the group kept in touch, some more than others. She has been in many other film productions after The Fresh Prince. She has mentioned enjoying on the set of her Lifetime movie, Jingle Bell. The end. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air ended in 1996 after nearly 150 episodes. It had been widely accepted and helped the careers of all the cast members. Will Smith wasn't the only Fresh Prince cast member to jumpstart their career thanks to the show either. James Avery, the man behind Will's beloved guardian, Uncle Phil, would enjoy a long, prolific career as both an on-screen and voice actor. Alfonso Ribeiro, who portrayed Will's dorky but charming cousin Carlton, mostly moved away from acting and used his charisma to reinvent himself as a game show host and reality television star. He also spent years directing for television. Then there's Tatyana Ali, who grew up on television as a young Ashley and became a respected Hollywood figure. When the series was made available on HBO Max for streaming, it raised a cheer on social media. This further proved the show's longevity on the Hollywood film scene. Why then could such a groundbreaking television series end suddenly? It led back to one man. You guessed right, Will Smith. By 1996, Smith was ready to close the chapter of The Fresh Prince and look into getting more opportunities in the acting scene. He once hinted that he did not come to dislike working with the cast and crew. He had only been a young man hungry for more success. He believed the 6 seasons were enough, and it would be better for the film to end while it still held some popularity, rather than when it had become a watered-down version of itself. The series was not canceled. Contrary to popular belief, it ended because the lead star believed it was time. Smith once shared his thoughts on the ending. You become a family. Some weeks you spend more time with your television family than with your real family. It's hard to say goodbye to that atmosphere, but it was time. We've all grown as actors and as people. We had an incredibly talented cast, but the show is just limiting. He also said, television is a good workout facility, where you work on your timing and other paces, but I think I've had enough time in the gym. Now I'm ready for the coach to put me in the game, motion pictures. While The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was still popular in the ratings during season 6, that was 2 years longer than the network had wanted the show to run. After season 4, executives noticed that new episodes were rated only slightly better than reruns. They then calculated that it would be more cost-effective to cancel the show and make big bucks in syndication, having already produced nearly 150 episodes. Fortunately, fans and local national broadcasting company affiliate stations rallied around Fresh Prince, getting it a stay of execution. By the time Will Smith expressed a desire to move on, the national broadcasting company could already see the end in sight.
Tonight is the premiere of Bel-Air. The pilot is crazy. The pilot is ridiculous, and it's strange because of COVID.
The fictional city of Bel-Air would not be removed from television screens for too long. On the 10th of March, 2019, Morgan Cooper uploaded a mock trailer of Bel-Air on YouTube. He wrote and directed the film, and it was a more dramatic reimagining of the original television sitcom. Will Smith, who starred in the original sitcom as a fictionalized version of himself, heavily praised the fan film and expressed his interest in expanding the concept into a reboot, personally meeting with Cooper. By August 11, 2020, a public announcement was made to publicize that the series had been officially in the works for over a year. Allegedly, Netflix, HBO Max, and Peacock were bidding for the rights to the series. On September 8 of the same year, Peacock gave the series a 2-season order with the title Bel-Air. Westbrook Incorporation and Universal Television produced the 2 seasons. Smith and Cooper's executive produced alongside Terrence Carter, James Lasseter, Miguel Melendez, Malcolm Spellman, Quincy Jones, Benny Medina, Andy Borowitz, and Susan Borowitz. On the 3rd of December 2023, Peacock greenlit the renewal of a 3rd season. Peacock renewed the series for a 4th and 5th season by December of the following year. In August 2021, Will Smith surprised the lead actor of the drama series Jabari Banks with news that he would be acting in the position of the star lead Will Smith in the film. By September, Adrian Holmes, Cassandra Freeman, Ollie Sholotan, Coco Jones, Akira Akbar, Jimmy Akingbola, Jordan L. Jones, and Simone Joy Jones joined the cast as series regulars. By January 2022, Karichi Tran, Dwayne Martin, Joe Holt, April Parker Jones, Stavante Hart, Scotty Thompson and Charlie Hall were in recurring roles. On the 12th of January 2023, it was announced that Saweetie was set to make a cameo appearance as herself, while Brooklyn McClinn, Jaslyn Martin, and Riel Downs were cast in recurring roles for the second season. Later it was reported that Tatyana Ali, who played Ashley Banks in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, was cast in a recurring role for the second season. The series received mixed criticism. Some preferred that they had left the Fresh Prince legacy untouched. Others believed it was a good way to show how the dynamics within black households and the status quo had changed over time. The series tackled more sensitive themes like sexuality and subtle racism. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, the first season holds an approval rating of 66% based on 47 critic reviews, with an average rating of 6.2 over 10. The website's critics' consensus reads, "Bel-Air replaces its predecessor's high spirits with a dour tone and an uneasy mix of realism, although there are signs that this reimagining can grow into a fresh new spin." Metacritic assigned a score of 59 out of 100 based on 25 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. Underlying issues always linger in productions within the entertainment industry, and one way or another, they get uncovered. What are your thoughts about this? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to this channel. You can also watch the other videos on your screen.